Ever catch yourself daydreaming about financial freedom? Like actually having your money work for you instead of the other way around?
Yeah.
Well, today we are going on a deep dive into the rules of wealth.
Oh, okay.
Not the vague kind of, platitudes you hear all the time.
Right.
But like the nitty-gritty strategies.
Yeah.
The ones that can actually make a real difference
Yeah.
in your life,
Yeah, for sure. And I think what we'll do today is go deep.
Yeah.
Not just what these rules are, but why they work.
Okay.
You've shared some really fascinating material with me, a collection of insights from people who've actually built wealth.
Yeah.
So we're going to help connect the dots
Yeah.
in a way that feels practical and, dare I say, maybe even a little exciting.
Ooh, exciting. Okay. So rule number 1 is have a wealth mindset.
Okay.
I have to admit, whenever I hear the word mindset, my eyes kind of glaze over a little bit.
Yeah.
But this isn't just about thinking happy thoughts about your bank account.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
It's about understanding the long game. You know how people talk about get-rich-quick schemes?
Yeah.
Those prey on the opposite of a wealth mindset.
Okay.
True wealth builders, they're playing chess, not checkers. Thinking years, even decades ahead.
So it's about delaying gratification, but in a strategic way.
Exactly.
Not just denying yourself all the time.
Exactly, yeah. It's about recognizing that a small, consistent investment now, thanks to the magic of compounding, could be worth significantly more later on.
Okay.
Let me give you an example. Imagine you invest just $100 a month, starting at age 25. Assuming, average annual return, by the time you retire, that could easily grow to over $300,000.
Wow. Okay, so $300,000 from just $100 a month.
Yeah.
That's really making your money work for you.
Yeah.
So that makes this next rule, spend less than you earn, feel a lot less like deprivation and more like a strategic move.
Right. And it's not about being a penny pincher. It's about understanding where your money's actually going.
Right.
You'd be surprised how many people don't even know how much they spend on things like takeout coffee or subscription services each month.
Yeah. It's so easy for those small expenses to add up.
Yeah.
So instead of just saying spend less, are there specific budgeting methods or tools that you find particularly helpful?
Absolutely. One popular approach is the 50-30-20 rule.
Okay.
So the idea is to allocate 50% of your after-tax income to needs, 30% to wants, and then 20% to savings and debt repayment.
Okay. I like that. It feels less restrictive and more like a framework for making, conscious choices about your money.
Exactly.
And speaking of conscious choices, our source material really emphasizes paying yourself first. So tell me more about that.
This ties in beautifully to the previous rule. It means automating your savings. Decide on an amount, ideally 10% or more of your income, and set up an automatic transfer to a savings or investment account the day you get paid. You won't even miss it.
It's like tricking yourself into building good habits.
Yeah.
Instead of waiting till the end of the month and hoping there's some money left over,
Totally.
you're prioritizing your financial well-being right from the start.
Precisely. And once you have a handle on saving, it's time to tackle the dreaded D word, debt. That's rule number 4 in our deep dive today.
Okay. I am all for getting this debt talk out in the open. It feels like something a lot of people avoid, but it's so important to understand.
Absolutely. And I think the key here is distinguishing between, good debt and bad debt.
Okay.
Good debt is an investment.
Okay.
Think about, a mortgage on a property that's likely to appreciate in value,
Mm-hmm.
or a student loan that helps you land a higher paying job.
Right.
These debts can actually help build wealth over time.
Yeah.
Bad debt, on the other hand,
Keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
Like high interest credit card debt or loans for depreciating assets.
Yes.
The things you buy today that are worth less tomorrow.
yeah. The interest rates on those can be brutal. You're essentially losing money before you even start.
Yeah.
And this is where that snowball effect comes into play.
Oh.
Let's say you have $5,000 in credit card debt at a 20% interest rate.
Okay.
If you're only making minimum payments, it could take you years to pay it off.
Wow.
And you'll end up paying thousands of dollars in interest alone.
Yeah, that snowball effect is a scary thought. It makes me want to shred all my credit cards right now.
Yeah.
But seriously, knowing the difference between good debt and bad debt is a total game changer.
It is. It really is. It empowers you to make those informed decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of informed decisions, let's move on to rule number 5.
Mm-hmm.
Invest to grow wealth.
Hmm.
This is where things get really interesting.
I've always been fascinated by investing, but I'll admit, It used to kind of intimidate me a little bit.
Yeah.
All those financial terms, it just felt like a secret language that I wasn't really privy to.
Right.
But the more I learn, the more I realize it's not about being a Wall Street whiz. It's about making your money work for you.
Right. Absolutely. And one of the most powerful tools in your investing arsenal is this concept of compounding. We touched on this a little bit earlier.
Right. It's that idea that your money earns money, and then that earned money earns even more money, and so on and so on.
Exactly.
It's like a financial chain reaction.
Exactly. And the key is to start early and stay consistent. Even small amounts, invested regularly can grow significantly over time.
Okay, so let's say I'm ready to, dip my toes into the investing world. Where do I even begin? Our source material really emphasizes diversification. What does that mean, in practical terms?
So diversification is all about spreading your risk. Imagine you putting all your money into a single stock and that company goes bankrupt.
Oh, no.
You lose everything. Ouch. Right. Diversification means investing across different asset classes like stocks, bonds, real estate, even commodities like gold.
So instead of putting all my eggs in one basket, I'm spreading them out. So that if one market takes a hit, it doesn't completely wipe me out. It's about balance and protection.
Exactly. And within each asset class, you can further diversify. So, for example, instead of buying, individual stocks, you might invest in index funds or exchange-traded funds or ETFs that track a basket of stocks.
Got it. So it sounds like there's a whole world of investment options out there. It can be a little overwhelming, to be honest.
It can be. It definitely can be. That's why it's so important to stay informed. Educate yourself.
Okay.
Read books, follow reputable financial news sources, and, consider consulting with a financial advisor if needed. Remember, knowledge is power when it comes to investing.
So it's not a set it and forget it kind of thing. It requires ongoing learning and adaptation.
Yeah.
But the payoff, especially if we're thinking long-term, could be huge.
Absolutely.
Which brings us to another rule that I'm really excited to discuss. Create multiple income streams. This is something I've been experimenting with myself lately, and it has been a total game changer.
I love that you're taking action. I think multiple income streams are a fantastic way to boost your financial security and your resilience. And the beauty of it is that there's so many different approaches.
Right. You could start a side hustle. You could invest in rental properties. You could create and sell online courses. You could even generate passive income through things like dividends or royalty. The possibilities are kind of endless.
They are. And it's about finding what works for you, what aligns with your skills, your interests, your lifestyle.
Yeah.
The source material also talks about the importance of scalability when considering different income streams.
Okay. Scalability. That sounds important. I'm not entirely sure what it means in this context. Can you break it down for me?
Of course. So scalability refers to the potential for an income stream to grow without requiring a proportional increase in your time or effort. So for example, if you have a traditional 9-to-5 job, your income is directly tied to the hours you work. You can only work so many hours in a day.
Yeah.
But if you create a digital product, like an ebook or an online course, you can sell it to thousands of people without having to put in thousands of hours of work.
Right.
That's scalability.
It's like leveraging your time and effort to create something that can generate income even while you sleep. That's the dream.
It is. It is. And it's a dream that's more attainable than ever before, thanks to the internet and the rise of the digital economy.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this, thinking about your own skills and your own interests, what are some potential income streams that come to mind for you?
Oh, definitely. I've been brainstorming ideas for months.
I love it.
I love writing and I love teaching, so creating online courses or writing ebooks are definitely on my radar. But there's so many other possibilities out there. I'm even thinking about getting into affiliate marketing or maybe even exploring real estate investing down the line. I don't know. We'll see.
It's fantastic that you're thinking creatively and exploring those different options. And that brings us to another crucial rule, protecting your wealth.
Right, because it's one thing to build wealth. It's another thing to actually protect what you've earned. I have a confession to make. I used to think that things like insurance and estate planning were only for the super rich.
Yeah.
But I'm realizing now that these are essential tools for anyone who wants to secure their financial future,
Yes.
regardless of their income level.
I'm so glad you brought that up. It's a common misconception.
Yeah.
People often think, oh, I'll worry about that later, when I have more money.
Right.
But the truth is, the earlier you start thinking about these things, the better prepared you'll be.
So let's break it down. What are the key areas we need to focus on when it comes to protecting our wealth?
So, the source material highlights three main areas: insurance, taxes, and estate planning.
Okay.
Start with insurance.
Okay.
Insurance is like a safety net that protects you from financial disaster if something unexpected happens.
Right. So things like health insurance, car insurance, and homeowners or renters insurance are non-negotiables.
Right.
But what other types of insurance should we be considering?
So, depending on your circumstances, you might also want to consider disability insurance, which protects your income if you become unable to work, or life insurance, which provides financial support to your loved ones if something were to happen to you.
So it's about having those safeguards in place to prevent like a temporary setback from turning into like a full-blown financial crisis.
Exactly. And then there's taxes. Nobody likes paying taxes.
No,
But they are a reality of life.
they are.
The good news is there are legal strategies you can use to minimize your tax burden.
That's where things can get a bit
It
complicated.
can be, but it's worth taking the time to learn the basics
Yeah.
or consult with a tax professional. Simple things like taking advantage of all the eligible deductions and credits can make a significant difference.
So it's not about evading taxes. It's about understanding the rules and playing the game smartly.
Exactly, yeah.
And then there's estate planning, which still feels a little intimidating to me, if I'm being honest.
I understand. It can be an uncomfortable topic to think about. But trust me, it's crucial to have a plan in place, especially if you have dependents or assets you want to protect. Estate planning is all about ensuring that your wishes are carried out and that your loved ones are taken care of if something happens to you.
All right, so we're talking about things like wills and trusts.
Exactly. A will outlines how you want your assets to be distributed after your death, whereas a trust can be used to manage assets for beneficiaries or to minimize estate taxes.
So it's all about having that peace of mind, knowing that things are in order no matter what life throws your way. Which leads us to another rule that really resonates with me: building valuable relationships.
Yeah.
I've always believed that the people you surround yourself with have a huge impact on your success, and that definitely extends to, the financial realm.
I couldn't agree more. The source material emphasizes the power of mentorship and networking when it comes to building wealth.
And we're not just talking about like schmoozing at cocktail parties, are we? It's about building genuine connections with people who can support your financial growth,
Absolutely.
and vice versa.
Yeah, a mentor can provide invaluable guidance, share their experiences, and open doors to opportunities that you might not have otherwise known about. And networking with other, like-minded individuals can create a really powerful synergy, sparking new ideas, new collaboration.
It's like building a financial support system, and sometimes that support system can make all the difference between, giving up and pushing through those inevitable challenges.
You've hit the nail on the head. And speaking of challenges, that brings us to our next rule, which is all about discipline and patience. These are two qualities that are absolutely essential for anyone on the path to financial success.
It goes back to what we were discussing earlier about having a wealth mindset, right?
Yes.
It's about playing the long game, being consistent with your habits, and resisting the temptation to chase those shiny get-rich-quick schemes.
It is. And it's about understanding that building wealth takes time. It takes effort. There are no shortcuts or magic bullets.
So it's like building a muscle. It takes consistent training, discipline, and a willingness to push through those moments of discomfort or resistance.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember that setbacks are a natural part of the process.
Yeah.
Everyone makes mistakes along the way. The key is to learn from them, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward.
Resilience is key. And I think that's something that's often overlooked in those flashy success stories,
Yeah.
People don't always talk about the failures, the rejections, the moments of doubt,
Right?
but those are just as important as the victories.
Absolutely. They shape us, they teach us, and they make the victories that much sweeter.
Yeah.
And speaking of sweetness, let's talk about the final rule in our deep dive, which is giving back. I have to say, this is one of my favorite topics because it highlights the fact that wealth isn't just about accumulating money, it's about using it to make a positive impact in the world.
Yeah, this is something I'm incredibly passionate about as well. I believe that true wealth encompasses not just financial abundance, but also a sense of purpose and fulfillment that comes from making a difference in the lives of others. Yeah, it feels like we've been talking about money this whole time. But in a way, it's about so much more than just dollars and cents.
Yeah.
It's about aligning your finances with your values.
That's such a great way to put it. And it's what makes this last rule, giving back, so powerful. It challenges us to think beyond ourselves and consider, how we can use our resources to make a positive impact.
I used to think philanthropy was something you did once you had, made it financially.
Right.
But I've realized that even small acts of generosity can have a ripple effect.
Absolutely, yeah. It's not just about writing big checks to charities. It's about finding ways to contribute to causes that you care about.
Yeah.
Whether that's volunteering your time, mentoring someone, or simply being more mindful of how your spending choices are impacting the world around you.
It's about recognizing that we're all interconnected and that our actions, both big and small, can make a difference.
Absolutely. It's about shifting from a scarcity mindset to an abundance mindset, recognizing that there's enough to go around and that by helping others, we ultimately enrich our own lives as well.
So after this deep dive into the rules of wealth, what are some of the key takeaways that you hope our listeners will walk away with?
Well, first and foremost, I hope they'll gain a deeper understanding of the interconnectedness of these rules. They're not isolated principles.
Right.
They work together to create this powerful framework for building a life of, true wealth and abundance.
It's like a recipe. You need all the ingredients to create that delicious and satisfying dish. You can't just focus on one element and expect to get, the result you want.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
And I hope our listeners will be inspired to take action, to start implementing these principles in their own lives, one step at a time.
Right. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It could be as simple as setting up a budget or automating their savings or, identifying a potential mentor. The key is to start somewhere and keep moving forward.
Exactly. And, I'd encourage our listener to really define their own version of wealth.
Okay.
What does a truly rich and meaningful life look like to them?
Right.
It's a question worth pondering because wealth is so much more than just a number in your bank account.
It's about having financial security, yes, but it's also about having strong relationships, good health, a sense of purpose, and the freedom to live a life aligned with your values.
It's about feeling abundant in all areas of your life.
Yeah.
And it's a journey, not a destination. There's always more to learn, more to experience, and more to give back.
Well said. So to our listener, we hope this deep dive has been insightful and empowering. Remember, the power to create a richer, more fulfilling life is within your grasp. It starts with a single step. Take that step today and keep diving deep.